So Casey Zander, he says a lot of true things, but he spins it in an extreme way, for clicks and views obviously,
Yes.
where it's just not practical. I think your relationships, they should be fulfilling. I don't think you should make the goal happiness, because if you do that, then the grass is always greener. Once a woman has lost desire for you as a man, it's not just the desire which is gone, it's the respect. Once the respect is gone, you ain't changed now.
Matthew 1T, but
Well, Matthew 1T, if you Google it, means the chosen one. So
is it really?
make of that what you want, yeah.
Is that what you will? He's the chosen one in dating, which we're going to get into. Matt is, as we were just sort of speaking about, not just, but relationship coach slash expert slash dating coach, sort of specializing in men's.
Yes, I can't say I've ever coached a woman before.
Okay,
So it's all men.
it's all men. And we met through Kit, who
Is a female dating coach.
is a female dating coach.
Yes.
So I imagine you two have got a lot to talk about. As
We're good friends outside of this kind of space, but that's how we met.
yeah,
So
I watched your episode, and I mean, I got about 80% through because I was basically making notes every 3 minutes. But great episode. You should go check it out, everyone. And we're going to talk about Matt and how he got into what he's doing, and then just dating in general, I think, and what his coaching philosophy, to use like a cliche term. Matt, let's start off with, I know it's a really annoying question, but how did you get into this?
So the short answer is, I was unhappy with where I was in life, and I had a friend, a housemate, who was doing online stuff, content, and he had a very different page, and I saw what the potential was for having the life you want. And it never started out as dating, and I started doing fitness and biohacks, improving your sleep and testosterone as a man. And I gained 10K followers at first with this. It was going quite well. But then at the time, this is 2020, 2021, I was really interested in dating dynamics, the psychology of dating. Obviously, when you're actively dating, I'm quite an obsessive person. So, if you get knocked back, for example, I'm like, why did that happen? I'm going to go and figure out why, and so on.
Yeah, I get that.
And then, I had a few videos go mega viral, 6 million view kind of thing. And
On dating.
on dating, where I was reacting to podcasts. So I was giving my 2 cents. And once you get 50K followers on a certain niche, you're like, well, this is my niche now. And then next thing I knew, guys are messaging me saying do you do coaching? And I said to them, what do you mean? Do I do coaching? Do you want advice? Okay, yeah, free call, no worries. Because I had my full-time job at the time. And then I had friends doing different things, and mate, you need to be charging. And then it just kind of transpired into this thing where I ended up building a process which I took myself through, going from point A to point B. And then I started teaching guys in that. Obviously, it was getting results for them, and they were getting success. And then 3-4 years later, nearly 5 actually, here we are.
And I didn't realize, not based on the way you look, but based on the way you carry yourself. I thought you were going to be a lot older than me. Are you 26?
I'm 27.
Okay, so 27. So you're a year older than me. But that is,
You're younger than me.
yeah.
Crazy. Well,
Do you think I was older?
I would have guessed 28, 29.
Okay, yeah.
I've got a baby face though.
I get that a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to shave a little bit, but yeah. So what was going on when you were doing, when you said you weren't in the position you were in? What does that mean?
I was just dating around, and you notice certain patterns, or I was noticing patterns about how women react, how women date, how I was dating. My housemate was single as well.
Yeah.
And we'd it was an interesting topic where we'd go on dates and we kind of discuss our experiences. And it was I'm seeing the same things over and over again. And, I'm somebody who takes care of myself. I've been in good shape for a long time now. So if I was kind of struggling in some areas, I know for a fact the average guy is also struggling.
Yeah, if he's struggling, guys, we've got issues. But no, he's got a lovely wife, Sophia, there.
Yeah, she's the
She's the producer.
assistant today, yeah.
Assistant for today. Is it going all right?
Right.
Are you hating it?
No, I'm happy.
She's unpaid, by the way, guys. So if it's terrible, that is why.
That is why, yeah. And it was also thrown upon her as well. Do you think relationships have a purpose?
Yes, I think they serve a function.
What is that function?
Depends. Because for some people, it's just a lot of people seek happiness, which I think is the wrong philosophy.
Yeah.
I think your relationships, they should be fulfilling, but not necessarily. I don't think you should make the goal happiness, because if you do that, then the grass is always greener, and you're always going to want to jump ship when there's some difficult times, which is what a lot of people see. Nobody wants to hold down. Well, they do, but nobody ends up holding down a relationship, or the marriage divorce rates are absolutely atrocious, and I think this is a large part of it. Whereas pre-social media, you didn't have a choice. You had to stick things out or work things through. Whereas now, it's so easy to go on dating apps or go out with your mates, and next thing you know, you're chatting to somebody, and then things lead to another thing. So yeah,
Have you, I think I was chatting to Kit about or I saw it on TV about like arranged marriages and how arranged marriages can often are proving to do better in somewhere than like I guess non-arranged marriages.
dating for love, you mean? Yeah,
Yeah. And I guess maybe that's the expectation of people think that love is to make them happy when like the title of the episode with Kit is going to be what's love got to do with it? And it's like an
mm,
ironic spin of dating and well, marriage was never really about love. It was about an exchange of
yeah,
like
function, yeah.
a function. Yeah. Do you think we've lost is there a space for, like, viewing relationships as a function, or do you think we've moved past that and now we should move relationships as a loving, like, from the heart?
Well, everybody's very individualistic these days, so they want to pursue it for selfish reasons, which is they want love, which is why it's usually this is because usually women are the ones that end a relationship. If you look at divorce
Yes,
statistics,
yeah,
8 out of 10 divorces are because the woman initiated,
yeah,
and the most common reason, and I've looked into this, is often because they weren't fulfilled or they weren't happy. Whereas the man, I think men become more comfortable and complacent,
yeah,
and they will just kind of accept things for a long time. Whereas women, when they're not happy, it's like, oh well, I need to find somebody else to
mm,
fulfill that role, if you want to call it that. But
yeah.
then I think when you have, it depends why you're breaking up, obviously, but when you have children, are you going to break up a family just because in that moment you're unhappy?
Well, also, once you have kids and you get divorced, you never really get divorced. Like,
Yeah.
all the people that I know who have got kids, like, often the time they live unless you want to deprive your children/child of access to one of their parents, the likelihood is you'll end up living within, like, 5 to 10 minutes away with each other because, like, you've created a person together. You may not be married in the sense of the romantic loving sense, but you
Mm.
have a relationship to in some capacity.
Well, I'm the product of I wouldn't say single parent household, but my parents divorced when I was like 2 years old.
Yeah,
My dad lived about 30, 40 minutes away. There was periods where I didn't see him too much
yeah.
for various reasons. So I see what you're saying, but also because I'm coaching so many divorcees, you consistently see that I don't want to.
Coaching a lot of divorced men?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Whether that's through their divorces or how to move on from their divorce, because there's maybe a controversial take depending on your audience, but men are usually the reason why they end up in a divorce, like 9 out of 10 times.
Yes.
And this is not about like men are the problem, but there's more responsibility on a man to make things work than a woman.
Well, you have to this is a big topic thing that I wanna get into. There's, like, a line that you have to walk as a man where because a lot of divorces will be as a result of women feeling like they're not getting enough emotional intimacy or thinking that that's what
Well,
they
that's what they label it as. Yeah,
okay, yeah. But then a lot of the time, a lot of divorces will be a result of men underperforming. And
yeah,
I mean, I've known some women who basically divorce their husbands. God, I don't know if I can put this in, but anyway, because they basically don't need them anymore.
yeah, which is a very common thing these days.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, because you have to think historically, a woman needed a man
Yeah,
to survive, right? And I'm not saying it should be that way now, but you have to think of the life of a normal woman. She can walk out and get constant attention and validation. Maybe not from the men she wants, but she will get that. And if somebody comes along who's a better buyer, let's say, and her husband's at home who's let himself go and he's been a bit lazy and not making effort anymore,
yeah,
well, of course, she's going to follow her emotions, which is usually what happens, and then she jumps ship.
yeah,
And the man sat at home going, "But I bought you this and I bought you that." I was like, "Yeah, it means nothing."
yeah,
I say dating is a game of emotions, and the man who has the most emotional pull on that woman, that's who she belongs
yeah. That's a
to
good one,
in a
actually.
way.
Yeah, yeah. Women, the older I get, it's a theory that I want to run by you, actually. I have a theory that 80% of your interaction with a woman is dictated by her emotion.
100%.
So if you're trying to work out what she feels about you need to have 5 interactions with her that elicit the same response in you. So you can go, 20% is her genuine feeling for me, and 80% is whatever emotional state she's in at the moment. I don't know, it could be absolute rubbish, but I've
Is this your theory or
my theory, yeah.
yes, this is like made by you
This is
mean?
made by me, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's I mean, by the way, men also are influenced by their emotional state as well, like, but maybe just not quite as much as
I
women.
think the difference is men will feel emotions, but they're less likely to take action because for the average man to actually move on and replace his partner is much more difficult compared to a
Yeah,
woman. Like I say, Sophia could walk into any place, and if I'm not there, a guy will be looking at her, looking to approach her.
yeah,
Whereas for me, even being, over 6 foot, not bad looking, in good shape, I have to go out there and make the effort
yes,
because the only women that would approach me are not the women I'm ever going to go for.
yeah.
No
Have you ever
offense.
been approached?
Yeah, but again, it's always in Newcastle. My
Newcastle!
Newcastle, yeah, Toon. Although if somebody's from Newcastle,
Got some Geordies in the house,
I'm
guys.
not a Geordie because I'm I had the kind of Geordie. I don't want to say beaten out of me, but it was always like say please and thank you, never say I or way I by my mother,
Yeah.
which was a good thing. But yeah, they had a saying back in the day, which was a 10 to 4 or 10 to 2, right? Which means that
Attempt or attend?
a 10, the numbers, a 10 to 4, like
A 10 to
350.
4, okay.
So, like, imagine the club. Think of the last people standing waiting to pull in a
Yeah.
club.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
call them a 10. It was 10 to 2 because clubs used to close at 2 a.m.
Yes.
Now it's 4 a.m. in most places. So you say, oh, she's a 10 to 4. Maybe I'm talking up my arse because somebody told me this and I've ran with it, but that is what I've
I
heard.
get it,
So,
okay.
yeah, there you go.
Nowadays, I think if you had to explain, imagine there's like a courting dynamic between
Mm,
men and women, right? And then it's like a push and a pull. Because in order to get from point A to point B, there has to be like some sort of friction and sort of
tension.
tension. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my ideas of what that tension is. I think the girl makes the initial interest. Then that's, well, in my experience, if a girl is interested in you from day dot, that's a huge benefit. Like you can influence, you can persuade, not persuade, that's the wrong terminology. You can influence, you can try and manifest or
Body teaching
manufacture.
coercive control.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not go about that. Um, but if you had to explain like the push pull relationship between men and women, because there's the idea of he invested too soon, she lost interest, or
Yeah.
he's pulling back, like because so much of the advice that you hear nowadays is like what to do when they pull back or when
Nothing. You like there's certain dating coaches which exist to like how to get your ex back,
yes,
how to get whatever, and it's bullshit. Once a woman has lost desire if he was a man, it's not just the desire which is gone, it's the
it's
respect.
respect.
And once the respect is gone, you ain't changing that, which is
No,
why when a guy comes to me and he's like, Matthew, I want to get my ex back, I will say, yeah, we can try, but I know full well that I'm going to be coaching him through the process of
letting her
making sure it
go.
never happens and then letting her
Okay,
go.
okay.
Yeah, because for a man, if a man likes a woman, the more effort she makes to an extent, unless she's weird about it, the better, right? Like
Yes.
when I met Sophia, unless she was like a psychopath with how much effort she's making, it's just like green flag, green
You're up
flag.
there. Don't do that anyway.
Whereas
Not
for a guy, in many ways, like the less effort he makes when she likes him, the easier his life will be.
that's what I said to Kit. I said I feel like in every aspect of life, the more you put in, there's a saying isn't there that you give what you get. And I think with women, it's almost I don't know. I mean, the thing about this whole thing is that it's so nuanced. It's so subjective. Or I mean, there are one of the questions I'm going to ask you is like, what are the
There's one word to describe all of it, which I can.
okay,
So have you heard of the word hypergamy?
yeah,
Yeah. And what is your understanding of it?
women date up.
Exactly, right? So when you know this, the reason why they don't like men who show consistent effort, even if he is attractive, is because from a biological point of view, he's displaying that we must be at least on the same level,
Yeah,
which means that, yeah, she may like it short term, but long term, she starts thinking, well, I want the guy who doesn't want me because he must be above me.
yeah,
And that's what I see constantly. So it's basically I don't want to say game because I don't like that word, but it's like a constant play between you showing some interest, but not so much that she's gonna think this guy is like obsessed with me.
yeah. It's like that push pull, that magnetism. The polarities have to go back and forth. So you,
Yeah, and it never ends. And like, a lot of guys think that once they get a girlfriend or a wife, like, oh, I'm done. But the hardest part is maintaining a woman, not getting her. Getting her is actually easy, assuming you've done the basic work.
mm,
You've got some nice dating app pictures. You can approach a woman, hold a conversation. But then to keep that desire going and fight off her options when the average woman is socializing, she's at work, she's taking orders from a boss, etc. Yeah, it's difficult, which is why, I'm in a dynamic where my wife doesn't work. I mean, that's for many reasons, but makes my life
So she
easier.
can do this.
Exactly,
Just
yeah.
don't do the main reason.
Yeah, pressing buttons.
Press a button. No, there's a lot more than that. You've got to think of many things. Um, yeah. So interest, not too much interest, and then just let that unfold as it goes along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The best way to do this as a man is simply have something more important than her.
Mm,
Have a career or a job which you are always prioritizing. And when you do this, you find women revolve around you. So since I met Sophia, it's been like coaching, consultations, and content. And because I do this, it makes me more attractive when I'm saying, "Oh, sorry, baby, I can't see you. I'm
mm,
busy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that."
yeah.
Right?
But can you come to my episode with Ollie Jones? So that's what's been going on. Um, so that was one of the questions we're going to ask is like, how do you or how have you kept what's difference from 21-year-old Matt to 27-year-old Matt and keeping relationships alive and maintaining so that they don't just because everyone uses that word, oh, it fizzled out. That's such a like a cliche term. What I mean, you kind of basically just said it. You put out boundaries, you have a purpose and you have something that you're aiming at.
You've got to be a constant nudging force in a woman's life, is what I say. So
What does that mean?
a lot of guys take a backseat role, and they in the beginning they may be more of like the masculine assertive guy, booking things, making effort, but then long term they start letting her take the lead,
Mm.
which is when the kind of natural polarity starts to shift,
Mhm.
and then by death by a
Hypergamy is
thousand,
flattened.
yeah, by death through a thousand cuts,
Yeah.
you start changing, right? So I say to my guys, whether you're 10 years in or 1 month in, you need to be constantly nudging her, like, come on, we're going to go here. Come on, we're doing this. Just seem like the man who's in control, basically, because then she will be a reflection of you and you're going to get the best from her, where she's going to be this feminine, giggly, girly girl, even if she has her career and has her job, because now you're the man with the plan. You're the man who's always like, come on, we're doing this, we're going here. A lot of guys try and negotiate, thinking that they're taking her into consideration, when really that builds resentment from my experience.
Resentment from the part of the women onto the
I see it constantly, yeah, where the guys are like, "Baby, what do you want to do? Should we do this? Should we do that? What do you think about this?" When really, like I have a module in my training titled "Don't Give Her the Burden of Decision Making," because the feminine is not built to handle pressure. It can develop to handle that pressure,
yeah.
but do you want your partner like being a masculine energy in your relationship? No, because then you date a man.
Do you delve into like the masculine and sort of feminine like it's a bit sort of
Energies, yeah, yeah, I do,
energies
of
and
course, yeah, it's really important.
yeah, it is really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I say it to guys, like your dates and your day-to-day communication, it's like foreplay for like your relationship, right?
It's a really good way of putting it
And
actually.
and
Yeah.
how can your girl imagine having sex with you? Can I speak freely like
Yeah,
this?
of course.
How
Yeah.
can she imagine having sex with you if you're passive day to day? Because almost every single woman has the fantasy of being controlled or dominated, which may get me in trouble for saying that, but that is, the feedback you get time and time again.
Yeah.
Whether like, what's the one of the best selling books in the world ever is 50 Shades of Grey. Like, that's not a coincidence.
That is crazy actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people sleep on that concept actually. And that came out around the exact same time that the Me Too movement started. And obviously they are completely separate phenomenons, but it is really interesting how yeah, like I think it's like the fastest selling book ever actually, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, because it fills a gap or a hole which a lot of women are craving. Like, they all want that, like, big, strong guy who just takes control and lifts them off their feet. But they can't say they want this, because then they're taken away from their other goals, they feel like. Because they say they want that masculine man,
Yeah.
but then how can they be an independent woman and then want a masculine man?
Yeah.
Do you watch Married at First Sight? Or-
I heard you speak about the kit. I have watched it I've watched it a
it's-
bit, but I was like, why am I watching this?
So
So
one of the couples on it was like a very feminist woman and a very traditional guy, and they're just constantly clashing. And she's saying things like, "You never take accountability, you never listen to what I want." But she asked for a masculine man. But when she gets the traditional man who wants to pay and take the lead, it's like, internally she wants it, but externally she's having a battle with herself, because she doesn't want to kind of accept that she wants this.
what do you think 50 Shades of Grey is a really good example, like, because what 50 Shades of Grey does is it explains out the female fantasy,
Mm,
female romantic fantasy, which is I'd speak about this quite a lot because it's so true. It's the same as Beauty and the Beast or all of these romance novels. That's another thing. Romance novels, I'm pretty sure over 50% of all books sold every year are romance novels or paperback books sold every year.
yeah, because women are craving something they
So
don't have.
that's like I mean, men don't read, so well, they kind of do, but they don't really. Do you read?
Men read self-improvement books,
Yes,
Atomic Habits,
yes.
things like this, any
And so, what's it? What's the Victor? No, the
The Way to
Think
Superior
and
Man.
Grow Rich, something like
Yeah.
that. Those sort of stuff.
Any book that I ever read was never,
Yeah,
uh,
same here.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was always self-help, making money, being a better man.
it was nonfiction. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that is the dynamic that we're playing. That is playing out. What do you think masculinity means then? Because just as you were, when you used the word accountability, was that in context to the masculine, the traditional guy, or
Yeah, so she wants him to take accountability because, for example, he'll make jokes or gestures. Which is, let me think of an example. Like he jokingly called her a dick, for example, because she said something, right? Like
okay,
a bit of banter.
yeah,
It was not deep, right? And she laughed in the moment, but then when it came to sitting on the couch with the experts, she was like, yeah, I didn't like the way you made me feel and blah blah. And I'm like, are you saying this because now you're in front of the audience and you're aware that you have to continue this mask of the feminist,
yeah.
or do you really feel that? And I think it's a mask.
I mean, God, why? God, there's a good question. Why are young people struggling so much with dating?
Social media is the biggest reason. Social media has basically amplified human nature. So back in the day, let's say a
It's a good
five out
way
of
of
10
putting it,
man
actually. Yeah,
would date a 5 out of 10 woman because in their hometown, like she can't go for the 10 out of 10 man because he's taken by the 10 out of 10 woman
yeah.
in terms of looks, right? Or, perceived genetic potential. Whereas now, you'll get some normal looking girl, puts a selfie online. Now she has many buyers, let's say, from, guys who are just horny and want to fuck and maybe they're, higher quality. So my experience is you'll get a normal girl, she might date or sleep with a higher quality guy. She thinks that's now her standard, and now she won't settle until she finds that. And then she gets all her girlfriends going, "Don't settle, sister," and all this. And then she's just permanently a cat lady looking for that feeling that she had with that one guy because hypergamously she was he was so much higher than her. So then you have all these guys who are just normal guys who are having to settle and lower their standards. Like I do a few consultations per day. I'm talking thousands the last few years. And the consistent thing is, I don't even care about a pretty girl. I just want a nice girl. And this is from guys who are good looking, right? So they're struggling.
You do meet guys that think, God, why are you struggling with dating? And I think, but you used the term emotional pull earlier. I
Mm.
think that's a really good eliciting emotions, the correct emotions in women is almost what is 90% of dating.
It's
90% of
a skill.
attracting someone is
Yeah.
skill. Yeah. Have you developed the skill? Clearly.
I would like to think so. Yeah. I mean, I teach it for a living, so I would think so. But if you want to give it like an overarching term, it's just charisma, but in a dating context, because you can be charismatic in a friendly way. And the definition of charisma is the ability to influence or persuade without using logic, which just describes dating. Because
Let me write
I
that
say to
down. That's
guys,
good.
your first few dates, do not ask serious questions. You're not there to like get to know each other. Like a lot of people think you're there to feel each other out with some shit jokes and banter. And if you get on, you get on, and then you can have more of those conversation. But a lot of guys do this thing called future pacing because they think that's what you want, where it's like, what do you want from this? Where do you see this going? What are you looking for? And that's why
On
on
the
date,
first date?
yeah, they'll do that because they think that open communication is what you should do when really like you're just showing too much interest. It's like on dating apps, you can select, what you're looking for. And time again, I see it from my guys. I've got 500 students,
Yeah.
so I have a lot of sample size
Yes, of course, yeah.
where the woman may have looking
Meta-analysis.
yeah, the woman may have on her profile looking for a boyfriend. If the guy puts looking for a girlfriend and they openly discuss that, she runs away because she feels pressure.